Hi, I'm Emily Veneri, and we're here today celebrating the 60th anniversary of EV Hardware. We've got a lot of great interviews for you from different members of the community and businesses, and we hope you enjoy it. All right, Brian, could you introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about your product?
Sure. My name is Brian Tapella. I represent FreshWave, which is a division of OMI Industries. FreshWave is a natural odor eliminator. It doesn't use any harsh chemicals or masking fragrances. It uses plant oils and water. Instead of covering up odors, it eliminates them completely.
Fantastic. And will you tell me about your involvement or relationship with Andy and EV Hardware?
Sure. Andy was really instrumental in getting FreshWave into the Pittsburgh market for us. And it was probably 6 or 7 years ago that Andy met our founder, our managing director, Phil Coffey, and our COO, Bob Dunklaw, and hit it off really well. Andy's a very unique partner for us in that he does certainly a great business with our consumer line, but he does a fantastic business with our commercial and industrial customers. So FreshWave actually started as an industrial solution for wastewater treatment and oil refineries and asphalt plants, and then evolved into what it is today as a safe consumer odor eliminator. So Andy works on all aspects. He's got the industrial, the commercial, the consumer, and it was probably 6 or 7 years ago that he really got started and hasn't stopped. He just keeps going up for us. So
fantastic. And how do you feel about being part of our 60th anniversary?
Oh, we're honored and thrilled to be here. It's really fantastic. FreshWave, when it started as a consumer business, was really big in local community stores and hardware stores and gift stores and things like that. So EV True Value is a perfect place for FreshWave to be sold, and like I say, we're happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. All right, could you folks introduce yourself?
I'm Justin Schmutzer from Metropolitan Window Company.
And Maggie Schmutzer, Metropolitan Window Company as well.
Perfect. Will you tell me a little bit about Metropolitan Window Company?
Sure. We are Metropolitan Window Company. We started business, my husband and I, John Schmutzer, started business 35 years ago. Started in the South Hills and then moved on to the North Hills. We have 2 locations now on Route 51 across from Baldwin High School, and in the North Hills in Wexford Plaza on Perry Highway. We met a friend of Andy's, Dan, several years ago. And Dan was interested in windows. In fact, we did windows at Dan's house in the meantime. And Dan said, your work ethic, your and John's work ethic, reminds me so much of a good friend of ours, Andy. And Andy owns EV True Hardware in Bethel. And do you know Andy? And I said, no, I don't know Andy. But if he's like us, I would like to meet him. So he said, I'm going to make those arrangements. So a few weeks went by, and we get a call, and we called Andy, and Andy said, sure, we'll meet for lunch. And that happened probably about 5, 6, 7 years ago. And it's been a good marriage since. He does have the same work ethic. Our alarms are a little bit off track. He's up at 4. We might be up at 6. But being in business for yourself and having a small business, you have to have that type of aggressive work ethic. And Andy and I and John and Metropolitan, it's a good fix.
Good. And how do you feel about being part of the 60th anniversary celebration with EV Hardware?
It's very exciting. I mean, we do a lot with Andy and True Value, and it's great for us to be here and be a part of it, and just be there. So it's very exciting. So
good. Is there anything else that you would like to add that I didn't ask you?
Other than I congratulate Andy for this milestone today, for his family, for the legacy that he was given and he still upholds for his family, what he has done for Bethel Park. That's a true attribute for a business owner. And the world is built on small businesses, and I wish Andy much success and maybe 60 more years to come.
Would you introduce yourself and tell me what you do?
Kurt Helgren, local sales manager for KDKA Radio.
Perfect. And will you tell me a little bit about your relationship with EV Hardware and Andy?
Andy has been a great client of KDKA for the last 12 or 13 years. Andy hosts the True Value Home Improvement Hour on KDKA from 10 to 11 on Saturdays. Every Saturday, he's kind of the face of Saturday mornings for KDKA. He is a tremendous client, would do anything for you, and we love having the relationship with him and have a great relationship with him.
Cool. And how do you feel about being part of the 60th anniversary here at EV Hardware?
I'm ecstatic. How are you?
Fantastic.
It's a great time. I tell you what, nobody throws a party like Andy. He's got everybody here. He has a lot of our clients here. I just saw John and Maggie Schmutzer and a ton of other clients. So Andy is the king of the South Hills. You know, he is. Everybody knows him, and he does a great work for the community.
Russell Smith here. I run Kiefer Coal and Supply Company in Bethel Park. It's the name might confuse you, although we still sell coal. Our main product is ready-mix concrete. We have a fleet of cement mixers and dump trucks and provide not only builders but homeowners with concrete for driveways, patios, footers for new houses, whatever they need. And Kiefer's been here since 1933. I started 41 years ago in 72 when I got out of school. And it's still a family business. The original Kiefers passed on, and my wife and I, and now our sons, and so we're coming into the fourth generation since the beginning. And it's a great place to be in Bethel Park. Know so many people, Andy especially. Every time we need something for one of our trucks or something in the plant breaks down, we got the hardware store right down the street from us, so it's a great opportunity for us too.
What does it mean to you to be part of the Bethel Park community?
Well, I'll tell you, the people especially, they're wonderful people out here. I've met the nicest folks you can imagine. It's just the environment of where we're at. You can't beat it. I'd have to say that, along with the ability for myself to do things for the Scots. When I need something, I don't go fight one of these big stores. I just come right down here. They know me. I walk in, and okay, here it is, and out I go. And it's all about how fast you can get your trucks back on the road. And he's got the things I need here to keep them running. So yeah, it's a great place to deal with.
All right, I'm here with Dave Jones. Dave, could you introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about your business?
Sure, Emily. I'm the president of Brookside Lumber. Been there since 1976, and the company's been there since 1926. Lumber company. We supply home builders, people doing remodeling in their own homes, all different types of things in the Bethel Park and surrounding communities.
What does it mean to you to be part of the Bethel Park community?
Well, actually, I grew up in Bethel Park. So it's part of my fiber. It's part of the company's fiber. And it's amazing how well the company supports Brookside over the years. And we like to do the same thing in turn with Scholarship Foundation, the Community Day, supporting Scouts, anything we can do to give back to the community.
How has EV Hardware affected your business?
Well, I actually lived 5 doors down from Andy for a number of years. So known Andy both inside and outside of business. We've done business together. We support one another. Just like everybody in the community, we all try to help each other succeed.
John, will you introduce yourself and will you tell me a little bit about your business?
Sure, I'm John Walsh from Bethel Bakery. You know, bakers start early. Our first baker starts at 2 o'clock in the morning, so I don't arrive until usually 7. So half the day is already put in by the time I get there. We are really blessed with a great quality-minded team that makes it happen for our customers every day. And, you know, if you're looking for our signature jelly tea cookie that Rob Pratt was just talking about, like he just was like, how do you make this? What's in this, you know? Or if you like the chocolate drop cookie or our cupcakes with our French buttercream icing, we have something for everyone. Whatever your flavor is, we have it at the bakery.
How long have you been in business?
Well, my dad started in 1955.
I'm Morris Walsh. I'm the matriarch of the bakery, which started back in 1955. And at that time, it was a one-man operation. And since that time, we've grown and to over 80 employees now. So that all happened in 58 years of being in business.
My wife and I took over in '91.
With my oldest son, John, taking over after I had it for 35 years. He's done an excellent job, and we've been able to progress with Bethel Park.
Well, Bethel Park is where it's at. I live here, I work here, our customer base is here, our loyal customer base is here, and it's just really a blessing to be able to be a part of so many people's celebrations. You know, whether it's the first birthday, or a first communion, graduations. You know, it's really cool to go to graduation parties and you see, you know, Bethel Bakery cakes everywhere. You just know people are celebrating and they trust you. You know, it's just a great thing to be a part of everybody's celebrations.
That's what makes us the bakery we are today. A good family business.
We just want to thank the Bethel Park community for supporting us and just enjoying our sweets. And we hope to celebrate just like Andy in a couple years with a big celebration. And congratulations to Andy and his whole team that make it happen for us every day.
Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role here in Bethel Park?
Hi, I'm Mayor Morton, and I've been the mayor of Bethel Park, as most of you know, for 16 years. Will be at least 16 years on the 1st of January. And it's probably been one of the best 16 years of my life. I've enjoyed every moment of it here in Bethel Park. We got here by accident, actually, back in 1960. My wife and I both had teaching jobs here. We moved into Bethel Park and raised our family here and built our own house. In fact, we are still in the same house we built in 1968, and have enjoyed every bit of that as well. But the real secret to Bethel Park, in addition to the school district and in addition to what the municipality does, it's the merchants in town and the people who go to those merchants and buy things and not realizing in many cases that what these people not only do to run their business, they also do so much for the community. I have never been turned down by any of these merchants when I've gone in to say, can you help us out with this or help us out with that? And they're all just great. And I'm appreciative of that. And I'm sure that the town is as well. I don't remember exactly when I first met Andy. I think it was probably coming in here. Maybe more than 16 years ago, because it was before I became mayor that I met Andy. And of course I knew the people who were here before Andy took over. He has a very interesting background, Andy does, what he did with his life, and it's fascinating. A good guy. He's just first class as far as a merchant goes in town and what he can do to help you out. So sometimes, you remember when you meet somebody, and sometimes you just seem like you knew him all your life, and he's one of those type of people.
Would you first introduce yourself and tell me about your title?
Sure. I'm Nancy Aloy Rose. I'm the superintendent of the Bethel Park Schools.
Very good. And what is your relationship like with EV Hardware and Andy?
When I first came to the community of Bethel Park as a principal of Independence Middle School in 1997, Andy was one of my first visitors. He had, at that time, one of his children was in the school. And so he came as a parent, but more importantly, he came as a community member to welcome me and to offer his services to the school. And if there was anything that we ever needed, that Andy would be happy to supply it for us. And he was true to his word. It wasn't an empty promise. So Andy's always been very special to us. When we were working with the Chinese exchange program. Andy helped us to coordinate some activities and to make them feel comfortable in the community. Had some special arrangements made for them through his connections, and he's just a very giving person who's willing to lend a hand wherever. So he's one of my favorite people in the world.
If you could just introduce yourself and tell me a little about what you do.
Sure. My name is Janet O'Rourke. I'm the Director of Secondary Ed in the Bethel Park School District.
Okay, and will you tell me a little bit about your relationship with Andrew and EV Hardware?
Absolutely. Andy is one of those go-to guys, and EV True Value has really acted as a go-to place for our school district. Anytime that we've been in a bind with something that we needed made, whether it be a table to do a robotics lesson in our gifted classes at Neil Armstrong, to helping out for our sets with our plays. Just Courtney False was just talking to me about the play setting for the Midsummer's Night's Dream that is in November at the Bethel Park High School, and how instrumental Andy and True Value, EV's True Value, is for our school district. It's just phenomenal. Great partnership, great guy, great people to work with. Anytime you come in here, whether it be personal things that you need or professional things that you need, somebody's always here to help and does a phenomenal job for us.
Would you introduce yourself and tell me about your title, what you do?
My name is Dr. Dee Stark. I'm the Director of Elementary Education in Bethel Park School District. I'm also the principal of Abraham Lincoln Elementary School, Go Lincoln, and basically responsible for curriculum and instruction in the school district and at the elementary level. We have 5 elementary buildings, and we all want to have some kind of consistency with our programs and our instruction, and so that's basically what I'm responsible for. Well, this is my 16th year in the district. I was principal of William Penn for 10 years. I've been at Lincoln for 6 years. One of the things that I find remarkable is the families and the children. Our families send our children ready to come to school. They also send them with a healthy respect for the principal's office. Thank you very much. And but the families are so supportive and so involved. They are the core of our PTA groups, and we couldn't have nearly as many programs at the elementary if we didn't have the support of our parents. So we thank them wholeheartedly.
This was such an extraordinary time, and so wonderful to honor such an extraordinary business and a wonderful man. It's been my pleasure, and I'm just very excited to be a part of this today.
As I said, Andy's always been a very, very special person to us, but EV Hardware in particular, whenever I had a unique need for something in my home even, I'd just pick up the phone and call Andy and ask if he had it, and of course he always does.
Andy Amrine is a community fixture. When I was principal at William Penn, his children went through there, and now I see them all grown up, and they're fine young people. Andy is so giving to the community in so many ways. It's really a pleasure to be a part of it.
It's a pleasure to be a part of this community, and especially to celebrate this day with Andy and EV Hardware.
Thanks so much. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, State Senator Matt Smith, representing the 37th Senatorial District.
Very good. And how do you feel to be a part of EV Hardware's 60th anniversary?
Well, it's really a great honor. I just presented Andy with the 60th anniversary congratulatory citation from the State Senate for EV Hardware's 60th year in operation. And EV is really one of the things that makes Bethel Park really special. A small business started here, grew here, employs Bethel Park residents, serves Bethel Park citizens, and it's one of the things that makes Bethel Park really special. I was born and raised in Bethel. I went to McMillan Elementary School, Independence Middle School, and then graduated from the high school in '91. So you really get a sense of community growing up in Bethel Park and what a special community it is. And certainly small businesses are the backbone and the cornerstone of our economy, not only here in Bethel Park and in Pennsylvania, but in the country. And we need to do everything we can to support small businesses like EV's Hardware to grow and add additional employees and the things that they do so well here. We want to make sure we keep that going.
Oh, fantastic. Is there anything else that you would like to add about the 60th anniversary celebration or your relationship with Andy or EV Hardware in general?
Yeah, and I but just the one thing I forgot to mention was I think one of the things that's so great is, you know, you see Andy, and everyone in Bethel can see Andy at so many events, whether it's Community Day, whether it's Memorial Day, the many events in Bethel Park that honor veterans. And, you know, that's one of the key things I think about small businesses that start here and grow up in a community. The owners and the proprietors really have a sense of giving back to the community, and that's one of the things that makes Andy so special and such a community resource for us here in Bethel Park. You know, he gives back in his time and his money, and, you know, that kind of fabric of a community is something that we've got to hold on to, and that's why I think, you know, a store and a shop like Evie's Hardware is something we've got to do. I think all we can to support and make sure we continue for another 60 years, and you know, I know that'll happen with Andy at the helm.
Good. Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with Andy?
Yeah, I met Andy, I think, right after I was first elected, going back to 2006, and at one of the various events, I think it might have been Community Day, and really started the relationship then, and he's just been a great resource, if you will, for me to bounce things off of, ideas I have, thoughts I have, things going on at the state level. And we've kept in touch over the last 7 years. And as I said, you know, you go to any event in Bethel Park, a parade, a function, whatever it is, and you see Andy, and that's one of the really special things, to be able to see folks, you know, as I said, growing up in Bethel Park, see folks I knew when I was growing up here, and make new friends after I was elected to the State House in 2006, representing part of Bethel Park, and continuing those relationships. And Andy is certainly a key part of the Bethel Park community, and it's really an honor for me to honor him on EV Hardware's 60th anniversary.
Good. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
You know, I guess that's appropriate because we've been playing the Andy Griffith theme, and of course he and Opie walking down to the pond with their fishing rods for years to signify that means it's time for Andy Amrine, and we are ready now from a man who is on the Fishing Game Commission to have a proclamation in your honor today to celebrate 60 years of doing business at EV True Value. Mr. Smith, Senator, welcome to KDKA.
Thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be here, Rob, and certainly as a Bethel Park native. I was born and raised in Bethel Park, went to the old John McMillan Elementary School back in the day, if you will, and graduated from the high school in '91. So I certainly know what a special community firsthand Bethel Park really is, and certainly you told the story in the last segment about Rick, who ran into town, played a little sports myself in Bethel, and that's really a strong tradition here in the community, I think. And it's an honor for me to be here to present this 60th anniversary citation from the State Senate of Pennsylvania to Andy for EV Hardware's hard work here over the last 60 years in Bethel Park. And it's really one of the things that makes Bethel special, as you attested to and everyone attested to in the last segment, is the way that local businesses give back through the Rotary, individually. You know, I see Andy Amrine at every single event, whether it's the Community Day Parade, the local events that honor our veterans. I mean, you really are an integral part of this community, Andy. It's really, as I said, an honor for me to present this. I'll read a little bit of the congratulatory citation from the State Senate here. It reads, "Whereas established by Ed and Pat Evie in November 1953, EV Hardware moved to its current location, where we are now on Library Road in Bethel Park, in 1963. Since its inception, EV Hardware has maintained a tradition of excellence, remaining responsive to the ever-changing needs of the community it serves. Now, therefore, the Senate of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania congratulates EV Hardware upon this special milepost in its proud history, extends warm wishes for a future replete with ever-increasing success and service to the community, and directs that a copy of this congratulatory citation, sponsored by Matt Smith, be transmitted to EV Hardware and Andy Amrine." Congratulations, Andy. It's a real honor.
All right, Andy, will you introduce yourself and tell me what it's like to be in business for 60 years?
Hello, Andy Amrine, owner of EV True Value Hardware. 60 years, awful long time. Thrilled to death to be associated with this hardware store. I started here in 1973. I was 13 years old. I'm one of 10 children. I'm 7 of 10. So as being one of the babies, it was a rite of passage rite of passage that whenever you got old enough, you started working for Mr. Evie at the hardware store. So I would be coming down here actually when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, and finally Mr. Evie gave in and put me on the payroll at 13, and then I just never left. I just loved it so much. So the growing up years, 13, 14, 15, and so forth, just working at the store and going to high school. Then as I turned 15, I was able to actually start working with some contractors. So started working with contractors, putting up brick and block and shingles. And by the time I was 16, I had built my first house from the ground up, excavating and so forth. And this is with the help of some contractors and builders and so forth. And it's when I turned 18, my senior year of high school, 1978, I actually took over as general manager of the store. And from there, a couple more years, I became Mr. Evie's partner. As I became his partner, just slowly buying into his family business itself. And in 1989, I got to about 49% of the business. And Mr. Evie said, okay, that's it. You're shut off until I get the big check. A couple years later, in 1994, is when I bought the rest of the business. My wife, Mary Alice, and I bought the business, and we've been the sole owners of the business since that time, and it's fun. I wouldn't work as many hours as I do if I didn't enjoy it. I consider it I don't work a single day in my life. I just come and have fun every day, whether it's with the builders, with the homeowners, with our rental company, with our new construction business, whatever the case may be. I just find it very thrilling to be part of Bethel Park and be in the community, and being here 40 of the 60 years that this business has actually been in existence. It's a lot of fun.
So you mentioned being part of the community. What other things do you do with the community?
Well, with the community itself, I try and be as involved as possible. I sit on numerous boards, from advisory boards for the school district, the Bethel Park Police Foundation Board, to the Bethel Park Community Foundation. And we like to be involved in the community itself, whether it's helping the school district, helping with community projects, helping with the churches, helping with every aspect of the community itself. Without the community and the residents of Bethel Park, I wouldn't have a business itself. So being part of the community is a vital segment of the business growing, the business thriving, and having businesses to look up to, like the Brookside Lumbers that are here 85 years, the Kiefer Supply that are here 80 plus years, Bethel Bakery 58 years, South Hills Movers, Bill Canals, the Tischler family. There's a lot of really old businesses in the community that make this community what it is.
So what does being a part of Bethel Park mean to you?
Oh, it's the heart and soul of who we are. Being part of Bethel Park, I take a lot of pride in it, whether it's the association with the school district and mentoring the kids, making sure you keep the children in our community onto the right track, or helping them find out what career paths that they want to go, to any other aspect of the community itself. I'm the community is part of me, it's in the blood. I was born and raised here, literally in my parents' house in the basement, because Mom never made it to the hospital in time. So being that involved in the community itself, it's in your blood and you're never going to leave.
Good. Is there anything else that you would like to add about the store or your involvement?
As far as the community itself, I just can never thank them enough. Thanking the residents of Bethel Park and the surrounding areas, whether it's South Park, Venetia, Mount Lebanon, Upper St. Clair. Those put us on the map, and I can't thank the community enough for supporting me, which allows me to help support them.
Thank you. Thanks for watching our 60th anniversary celebration, and this is Emily Veneri at EV Hardware.